Welcome to my channel. This is the Diamond Chrysalis, aka Divested Diamonds. This is divestment with purpose, and you have arrived. Greetings and salutations, ladies. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks for being here today. Please do me a favor and click the like button as you watch this video. Thank you kindly. In today's premiere, we're going to be discussing Ms. Vivica A. Fox and Eboni K. Williams and why these women are being bullied and shamed for not conforming to societal norms. But first, let's talk about the controversy regarding Ms. Fox and explore the real reason Black people especially are having an issue with this accomplished woman looking for love at 59 years of age. The so-called Black community does not celebrate or uplift Black women's accomplishments or achievements. That is not a secret. Despite coming from homes where both male and female children experience pretty much the same things while growing up, Black girls and women tend to excel tremendously when it comes to academic achievements. If the so-called community were normal, that would be a good thing, right? Not for the Black community. What we normally get is the constant belittling and scrutiny of everything Black women do for beating the odds. Because the community and the female population at large is surrounded by low effort, low achieving males, the jealousy and bitterness towards Black girls and women is always on display. There's always a member of the male species telling a girl or a woman how she ain't shit and what she ought to be doing, usually to appease him. There's never any harmony between the sexes because the males are so far behind that it brings shame, discontentment, and embarrassment to the male collective. What has happened through the generations is that Black women have realized that their mental strength and incredible ability to make things happen, to make something out of nothing, has been frowned upon due to envy. The unfortunate thing is, over time, Black women have also decided to hand over their power to low-achieving males of the community to make it seem as though the men have achieved all these things and not the women. The spoon-feeding, infantilization, and protection of most Black men by Black women is exactly what has brought the so-called community to where it is today. You see, we can't talk about the Black male's entitlement without mentioning the part that the mammies have played in elevating undeserving males and pedestalizing them to a status of community leaders or head of households. The unspoken word of the quote-unquote community is that it doesn't matter if a man is beneath you. You ought to show him love and respect for simply existing as a male. The perpetual handout of unearned respect by the community's women is sadly what fuels the delusion of power by a group of conquered males. He doesn't have to prove his worth to you. Just take him at his word. Take whatever he says as gospel. Pray about it, and your life will be right as rain. Most Black women have played a part in their own conditioning because they lack self-love and self-respect to see things for what they really are. And make no mistake, there's been a lot of coercion from the other side as well. This is not a one-sided problem. So what happens when you as a Black woman realizes that you've been bamboozled by the community's programming. When you decide to live your life for yourself without participating in fuckery, well, you're considered a traitor to the so-called community, because realizing this massive mistake means you are unable and unwilling to play the game of delusion. You are choosing to, quote unquote, not help a brother out. And that's frowned upon. It's viewed unfavorably among Blackistani dwellers. You are ostracized for wanting better for yourself because how dare you? Who do you think you are? No one ever seems to point out the fact that the reason Black girls and women have led the way in being self-sufficient, self-reliant, independent is because the males of the so-called community have failed the community entirely. Black girls and women have had no choice but to take control of their lives, usually at the expense of their own childhood. And when they choose to not be a part of that insidious programming, which constantly wants to see Black women saving Black men from incompetence and ain't shitness, you're considered a delusional, quote unquote, modern woman who knows nothing about how to treat or keep a man, and your fate is to die alone. So why are a lot of people in the so-called community in such a tizzy that Vivica A. Fox wants to find a partner at the age of 59? She's not yet 60, by the way. Her 60th birthday is July 30th of this year. But anyway, why is this beautifully seasoned woman being talked about so negatively by dusty males who aren't even in her tax bracket? And don't think I haven't noticed. The mammies and pygmies have been on her case as well. Why is this happening? I'll tell you why. She's a Black woman with certain standards and boundaries and has chosen not to settle for less than she deserves. What's wrong with that? I mean, so what if she's gained a few pounds? Because for a lot of you, that was your main concern. She's still a pretty woman, and weight can be lost. What's your excuse for being broke? What's your excuse for being a nobody? And worst of all, what is your excuse for being ugly? Most of you have faces only your mothers can love. But you sit on the internet with all these opinions, right? As if they matter to a beautiful, hardworking woman. She ain't looking for you, and neither is she looking at you. So sit down, Tyrone. Shut the hell up, learn to read a book, or better yet, find a job and mind the business that pays you. I don't understand why people keep acting as though this woman went to work, built herself, forgot to live her life, and then went to sleep and woke up one day at the age of 59 and said, well, it's time to find a husband. First of all, she's been married before. You see, she gave a chance to a Dusty and ended up paying all the bills. She was the breadwinner in the relationship. Sound familiar? This always seems to happen to celebrity Black women. Gee, I wonder why. The need to want to stay with them, the need to want to marry another Black person seems to lead these women to the same destination. Let's take a listen to the following.
Then after that, right around that time, you got married.
Yeah.
To Christopher 6ix9ine Harvest.
I did.
And I guess you said you got married because everyone else was doing it.
I did. I mean, I hate to say that. I mean, yeah. Everyone was having their Cinderella day, and I just wanted one too, to be very honest with you. Why the marriage didn't last a long time is because I didn't take the time to get to know him. That I just really wanted, I felt peer pressure. And I had my Cinderella day. My sister, my brother, my niece. I got married on this beautiful staircase. Paparazzi. Somebody from paparazzi fell out of a tree trying to get, pictures for it. I mean, it was beautiful. It was an InStyle magazine. I had my Cinderella day, but I should have honestly taken the time to get to know him a little bit better. I now to this day, with relationships, make sure that I take a little bit more time before I go so publicly with a relationship. It was a huge lesson for me. I mean, I was only married for 2.5 at most. I think it was 3 years. And, I have no ill will against him. I just didn't know him. And so that's why the relationship didn't last.
Well, what was the final straw? Because you guys got divorced in 2002.
Yes. The final straw for me was, at the time he was a singer. And his group that he was in, they were supposed to have been signed with Death Row Records, yet another connection with Tupac and Death Row. And when Tupac got killed and all of everything kind of fell apart with Death Row Records, he didn't go out and then try to pursue things with the same drive that I had for my career. And a woman doesn't like paying all the bills all the time. And I can only ask for help so many times before I had to come to the conclusion that I didn't want to be the breadwinner in this family. My mother didn't raise me to take care of a man. And that was the deciding factor.
So you were a sugar mama, basically.
I'm sorry?
You were a sugar mama, basically?
No, I wasn't a sugar mama then.
No?
Nah, I might be a sugar mama now, which I make sure I don't ever do. But no, we were the same age.
Okay. Well, I meant money-wise, sugar mama. You were paying for everything.
I was at the time, yeah.
So there you go. She tried marrying below her station in life and found out real quick that it wasn't the right decision. Admittedly, she got married for all the wrong reasons anyway. Ironically, the same societal pressure that led to that fruitless marriage is exactly what has transformed itself into the recent backlash. She did exactly what society tells young women to do. She got married and ended up with a bum. And I know that one of you smartasses is going to be in the comment section saying, well, she chose wrong. Well, she never would have chosen right, picking from the limited pool of successful Black men. Again, this is what happens when you limit your dating and marriage options to just one group of people. It's slim pickings out here, especially in the so-called community. Too many hobosexuals. Additionally, she was engaged to another unknown Black male named Omar Slim White, and that engagement fizzled away to nothing. During her appearance on Today with Hoda and Jenna, Fox also opened up about her 60th birthday in July. When asked about dating, this is what she had to say.
It's about time.
Okay, so yeah,
and I'm taking them.
Yeah, and you deserve them.
Thank you,
Let's
sweetheart.
talk about what else you're wanting. Are you dating?
Yeah.
How's it going?
I'm wanting to date.
Yeah.
It's limited resources out there, right?
Yes.
Because I'm not getting on an app.
No, why? You're just not into it.
I'm old-fashioned. I'm like, I need to meet you and sparks happen and stuff like that. Because I just believe people make up stories saying who and what they are.
Yeah, exactly.
And
What are you looking for at this stage, this point?
a partner.
Yeah.
And when I say a partner, I want someone that's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That's not intimidated by who and what I am.
Yes.
Yeah.
That likes to travel.
Yeah.
Going to let me go shopping.
Yeah. Yes.
I feel like you just spoke it into existence.
I hope so, girlfriend.
I feel like you
so
just
you
spoke-
got, and I'm taking applications.
Oh,
so
you
if
know,
you got a friend.
okay,
I'm good.
We'll be all. We'll
and
all
I
be
don't
on the hunt.
discriminate. He can be. I'm not against different nationalities. Then you know that too. Okay.
Vivica's going to stick around. She's laying down the law. We got some hot topics coming up.
Yes.
Hilarious.
You got to leave your options open.
The wave of idiots who came out of the woodwork to call this woman fat, old, and ugly was amazing. Remember what I said in my last video? Every second, minute, hour, and day that goes by, the aging process continues. A lot of you males think that somehow time simply freezes for you. And that's not the case. We, as in men and women, are aging every day. A lot of you barely get to this woman's age without health issues, regrets, and empty bank accounts. And to those of you who were saying, ew, she doesn't look like she used to. Well, tell me something. Do you look the same as you did when you were younger? I'll bet you don't. You've probably gained a lot of weight, gray hairs everywhere, with bellies the size of a large sack of potatoes. But you still have the nerve, the audacity to demean, devalue, and disrespect a woman who, quite clearly, would be out of your league anyway. A lot of you have allowed social media to gas you up into thinking you're entitled to, quote unquote, baddies, when you're not. You can't afford her or her lifestyle. And that's why a lot of you keep saying, well, she can't have high standards because it's too late for her. According to you, a seasoned woman is worth nothing. Most of you also lack comprehension skills because nowhere did she say that she was looking for a husband. She said very clearly that she was looking for a partner, someone on her level who's able to engage in certain activities with her, as well as allow her to indulge in the finer things in life, aka shopping. But because she's a Black woman, you all choose to be tone deaf. Let's listen to the following, shall we?
Vivica A. Fox, everybody talking about her interview where she was talking about the man she looking for, her being ready to get married now, and she almost 60 years old. But the big thing of what they comparing is what she used to look like versus what she look like now while she asking for these different things. I know a lot of men are getting a lot of enjoyment out of talking about what she looked like back in the day versus what she looked like now and why she didn't want these things when she looked her best. But let's keep it for real. Most people, this is what they do. Most people, when they look their best, when they're in the best position financially, they don't want to settle down. They don't want the people that want them at that time, right? They think they got so many options. They think that so many people want them that they can keep playing around. And then finally, when that money dry up or when them looks ain't the same, then all of a sudden, that's when them standards start dropping and they willing to accept certain things. Or they keep the same standards and now it sounds delusional that they want these things when they don't look the same or they're not in the same place financially. These type of conversations is where some men start getting delusional and I have to start giving them the side eye. Because it's like, what do you think you look like? Ain't no way you think you still look like what you look like when you was in your 20s. You got men who lost their hairline in their 20s, men who put on weight just like the women, men who done got all of these different kids by all these different women, and somehow you think that you are some type of prize that some woman should be beating down the door to get to as well. No, the women who would have wanted you in your prime, looking at you and thinking the same thing as you doing with Vivica A. Fox. They looking at you like, nah, I wanted you 3 kids ago. Nah, I wanted you 50 pounds ago. I wanted you when your hairline was still in place. But somehow you think that this is only a woman issue. No, this is a everybody issue. Anytime you think that you got so many standards that you can play over the people that actually are interested in you, and then when you start falling off, you think you can keep the same standards that you always had. You can, but just don't get your hopes up, right? You can have whatever standards you want to, just don't get your hopes up. Just don't be delusional at thinking that you gonna get top picks when you ain't top picks no more.
Listen, I don't normally agree with Dana, but I somewhat agree with her on this one. So before a lot of you talk shit about a woman who's out of your league, worry about your receding and sliding hairlines and that low testosterone, why don't you get rid of that gynecomastia? Because a lot of you males are out there talking a lot of crap. Meanwhile, some of these males have boobs bigger than Dolly Parton's or Wendy Williams. Let me tell you something. That mug that's sitting on top of your neck is not as good looking as you think it is. Fix yourselves before talking shit about other people. Most of you aren't aging like fine wine. I know you'd like to think that, but you're not. Go get your prostate checked instead of worrying about this woman. And do yourself a favor. Stop being delusional and leave this woman alone. And here's the thing. Weight can be lost. You can't lose your ugly, though. Okay, that's enough of that. Let's move on to Eboni K. Williams. First of all, congratulations to her on her pregnancy. She's a beautiful, rich, educated woman choosing to go it alone. The operative word here being choosing. She clearly maintains a certain standard in her life and eventually chose to do it by herself. The question is, why are most males and some women, and it's not just Black women here, I've seen an Asian woman doing a tag-along, jump on the bandwagon to hate on Black women? But I digress. That's a video for another day. Anyway, the question is, why are most males and some of these women so triggered by this? It's simple. They don't like to see beautiful, assertive Black women living life on their terms. Remember, they want you to follow society's script on what they believe your life should look like as a woman. They want you young and naive so they could indoctrinate you into servitude. A lot of these males are abusive, and that's why they sit on the internet saying any woman beyond 30 or 35 is old, lost her value, and is of no use to them. They will tell you how you've hit the wall. Meanwhile, a lot of them were born at the wall. Women are born with value. Men aren't. They have to learn to cultivate that for themselves. But if you listen to them long enough, they'll try to convince you you're worthless. You only gain value when attached to a man. High value man. Man. According to them, you only gain value when attached to them. It's preposterous, utterly nonsensical. These shaming tactics are meant to coerce and humble women into doing what they want. Most men in 2024 have no qualities of good partnership because their idea of romance is relegated to bedroom activities. And you see, here's one thing that a lot of you men do not understand. There's more to life than just fucking. And speaking of bedroom activities, why don't we just lay it all out on the table? A lot of you males are trash at it. The majority of women are never satisfied from it anyway. And here's the funny part, right? A lot of you think that the louder a woman moans, the more she's enjoying herself. This goes to show how little a lot of you know about women. These activities are usually very one-sided. As long as you're being satisfied, right? That's all that matters. Nope. This tells me how unemotionally invested a lot of you are. It's delusional thinking. Do you even understand why a lot of women turn into actresses during sex? It's to boost your ego, dummy. Her attachment to you is usually on an emotional level, and that is why she's willing to go above and beyond to make you feel good about yourself. 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with her. It's all about you. Physically, a lot of you are lost in space. Most of you don't even know what the hell you're doing. The lonely male epidemic is due to the fact that most males are immature, have low to zero emotional intelligence, and don't have the ability to navigate relationships. High quality women are no longer accepting mediocre treatment. Consuming red pill content is leading most of you to the pussy sphere. The majority of you are halfway there anyway. You would rather be with men than with women, trauma bonding with other loser males. So why get upset over a woman whom, according to them, is post-wall? Why are they worried about this unborn child's family situation when most of them don't even take care of their own children? It's because it angers them to see a well put together, successful Black woman who doesn't need a man making things happen for herself. I've seen quite a few videos on this with people accusing Ms. Williams of being selfish for choosing to be a quote-unquote baby mama at 40. Why does it matter? She's not asking any of you for child support, is she? We all know how the community is allergic to that. Y'all have blamed everyone and everything else for being held responsible for the children that you helped create. You keep making excuses for why you don't take care of these kids. You've blamed the mothers, welfare, weave, wigs, lashes, nails, white supremacy, the white man. But yet, your reckless behavior remains unchecked. These males litter the quote-unquote community with bastard babies and then put the entire burden and blame on the women, as if they don't understand how babies come to be. You have low vibrational dusties making songs about single mothers, as if that looks wonderful on the community's males. And granted, the women are partly to blame for allowing it to happen over and over again. But I swear, there's no logic and common sense with a lot of these males. And if you're wondering what those things are in his hands, they're diapers. This male did an entire song shaming single mothers because, according to him, and I quote, "There's no good man, but you bees stay pregnant," end quote. And here's another, quote, "Fancy baby shower, but no wedding and no man," end quote. So, as you can see, the so-called community has a deep hatred for women, especially single mothers. They'll put you through these situations and then laugh at you for taking the bait. What these low IQ males fail to realize is that they are part of the problem and part of the reason that these women end up single mothers in the first place. The reason the marriage rates are so low in the so-called community is because the males aren't marrying these women. If Black women want to put a stop to this madness, they have the power to do so. Remember, the growth of a community or nation relies heavily upon the woman's participation and engagement. Stop entertaining males who create entertainment out of your pain and suffering. Stop giving life to your own enemy. They don't appreciate you and your efforts anyway. They take pleasure in seeing you suffer. They're not like us. Men and women operate on different wavelengths for a reason, but that's a discussion for a different day. So back to Eboni K. Williams. I wish people, but especially males, would stay away from her uterus and let her have this baby girl in peace. She wanted a baby with or without a man present, and she's getting one. And here's the thing. I don't think she came to this decision lightly. This is what works for her. Your input in her decision is irrelevant. You have people such as ABL, that's Anthony Brian Logan, so pressed about the goings-on of this woman's womb. Like, sir, mind your business. This guy went over to the shade room and made this comment. Becoming a baby mama voluntarily at 40 is crazy. My thing is this. Crazy as opposed to what? Downgrading her dating standards to be with a bus driver or Dusty and being a provider for both her baby and a grown-ass male? Having some sponge in her home soaking up all the finances? You know, for a community that glorifies the Sukianas, the Saucy Santanas, and the Sexy Reds of this world, including low-value males, etc., y'all have some really high standards. But I guess it's easy to have these quote unquote standards when you're not the one responsible for paying all the bills, huh? And this obsession that the majority of people have in regards to two-parent households is insane. Now, is it a good idea to raise children in a two-parent household? In theory, yes. Realistically, if the parents don't get along, what is the point? It causes more harm to the kids than is necessary. The reason a lot of people fantasize about this family dynamic is because a lot of them didn't have it growing up. It's easy to crave something you've never had. Most couples don't even get along as it is, especially when resources are scarce. Now, add children to the mix, and it turns into a powder keg of BS. Do you know just how many traumatized people come from two-parent households? I know plenty. Not only did these people come from two-parent households, they had financial stability too, but guess what? Most aren't doing well despite the financial stability. So, what does that tell you? The quality of the people involved is really what matters at the end of the day. I came from a two-parent household too, so I totally understand the nuances of coming from such a background. Sticking around for the sake of the children, knowing absolutely well you, your partner, husband, wife don't get along, is detrimental to the well-being of those children. It's a sure way to fuck up your kids for life. Children don't become well-rounded individuals simply because they have two parents in the house. Stop selling this fantasy, this delusion. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't work. Sometimes it works, and other times it doesn't. Absentee parents exist in two-parent households as well. And don't get me wrong, I'm not at all saying that couples shouldn't strive to create a sanctuary for their kids. But let's be realistic here and take every individual situation as it comes. A lot of you don't even like each other. Some of your parents didn't even like each other. How do you raise well-rounded kids in that situation? We have to bear in mind that sometimes things just don't work out the way we'd like them to. So back to Anthony B. Logan. Well, he did a video about Eboni K. Williams, and this is what he had to say.
Welcome back, or welcome to Uncle ABL, and in today's video we're talking about Eboni K. Williams intentionally becoming a single mother at age 40. She's pregnant right now, and I believe the baby is due in August. She'll turn 41 in September. Now look, the age is one thing. That's not really an issue. I'm not really mad about that. Let's put it over there for now. My issue is becoming a single mom intentionally. Why would you do this? I don't understand. How does that make any sense at all? How is it not a selfish thing to do? There's a lot I want to get into because I commented on this and it kind of went viral a little bit. There's a lot of back and forth, a lot of conversation. And from my point of view, if many of us don't understand that it's a bad thing to become a single mom intentionally, then we're doomed. If we don't get that, we're doomed. But let's get to a few things first, okay? Now you see right here, Eboni K. Williams is pregnant. Real Housewives of New York. That's where she was on at one point, but never been married. Anyway, Real Housewives of New York alumna expecting first baby, a girl. My remarkable miracle, okay? And she also has a judge show called The Equal Justice with Judge Eboni K. Williams. Now, that's her right there. Attractive woman, especially for her age, looks very good, but a single mom intentionally, getting pregnant intentionally by a sperm donor, is that what we're going to do? Does that make any sense?
Fake outrage, fake concern, fake everything. Black men are truly diabolical and very disingenuous. They help create single mothers and single parent households and then turn around and blame black women for it. He wasn't the only one in the Shade Room comment section espousing this nonsense. There were a lot of dusty, bitter black males giving their unsolicited opinions on Eboni's situation. Let's take a look at some of these comments, shall we? The first commenter says, LOL. No wonder the Black community is finishing last in most metrics. All these women really don't see the value of two-parent households. It's all about money, with 2 laughing emojis. And then he says, okay, but you all aren't marrying these women, sir. The so-called community has never cared for two-parent households. Prove me wrong. Come on, let's not pretend that the quote-unquote community's foundation is built on high moral values, because it's not. The audacity. You have 60-something-year-old pastors grooming little girls and marrying them as soon as they're legal. What does that tell you? And you wonder why they keep calling anyone over 30 old? Let's take a listen to the following.
When it comes to an older man and a younger woman relationship, y'all love to jump in the comments and say, oh, it's okay, he living his best life. But how do you feel about this situation? That is a video of a 65-year-old pastor named Dwight Reed, who's on stage defending himself for marrying a younger woman. Now, the problem is when he met and married his wife, she was 19 years old. And not only was she 19 years old, she was his former student. He mentored that child.
And I wish some of y'all would mess with my wife, Jordan. Talking about what you gonna do if you see her. Well, you will see me on the news. Let me just tell you that right now. Talking about what you gonna do if you see her. You better walk by and say, praise the Lord. That's what you better do. Because that's my wife. And she grown. She didn't need nobody to sign no paperwork for her. Now, if this was out in the streets, y'all be saying she made a come up. But you a hypocrite. So don't you forget the Bible say marriage is honorable. And the Bible said when you find the wife, honey, you find favor with God, honey. I found some favor with God. And we sleeping good at night.
But 19 years old was a legal age, right? They didn't need to sign no paperwork, right? It's legal. But if it's legal, does it make it right? Let me know in the comment section. Like and share. Later.
All right, y'all. It's been a little minute, but I want to talk about the creeping, grooming bishop. All right, now, Bishop Dwight Reed, let me go ahead and straighten this out. This ain't your first time doing this. And to my people that's watching, yeah, you heard it here first. This ain't his first time doing this. And he knew he moved to a state where the consent for marriage and sexual intercourse was 16. This is a state where they're most likely housing predators. He just knew where to go. Because people like him have lifelines, y'all. Let's get into this story real quick. I'm not going to play that crazy ass video that he posted in his pulpit talking about she didn't need nobody to sign no paperwork. Because he's facing now these accusations of grooming and marrying 19-year-old Jordan. Okay? The clip that y'all are seeing that's going real viral, it is a resurfaced clip, you all. This is not recent. It's not of 2024. This is back in 2022. Now, the pastor or bishop, however you want to call him, heathen, Dwight Reed, married young Jordan 2 years prior to 2022, okay? She was just turned 19, whatever. But let's get into why I say he has done this before and the state that he moved to has a legal consent age rate at 16. And the crazy fact that he said in that video, though, that resurfaced, that you mess with my wife, you know, I'm going to be packing. And don't let the devil fool you, sir. When you are the devil, look at those eyes. Look at that glow in your eyes. When you have the devil in you, it's not an entity. It's the person that is doing the fooling. So you can't fool me over here. And I know someone is watching that know they cannot be fooled. If you have encountered this man, please step up and speak out and tell your truth. I promise you the weight will be lifted. After he was referencing the scripture and then saying that the two of them sleep well at night. Like, what? We don't need to know what's going on in your bedroom, sir. That automatically red flag. He claimed that it was he was not worrying about all the crooks when he the biggest one of them all, because he is prepared to go to war for Jordan's honor. That is not honor bullying and grooming a young child. I'm not going to say this because she also is growing at the same time, but at the same time, while I'm saying that, I'm going to say this. It is easy to manipulate a young mind. Very easy. And to make them even think that they're making the right decision by going along with the man. Men know this, especially with young women, with any young mind, any child. A predator knows how to manipulate the young mind into thinking it is okay. Let's be real. And let's get into the rest of this. And he says, I'm telling you now, don't let the devil fool you because I ain't the one to play with. Sir, you got a glow in your eyes. You have the eyes of something of you is giving you still something. So you are the devil in the suit, baby. It ain't some entity. It ain't some magical creature that people have cocked up and stuff like that. That's their own imagination. But what I can tell you is it lies within you. He is the devil. Okay? When you let the devil know the word too. He be having midnight mass. That's what it's giving. He be having midnight mass. Now, the legal consent in the state of Des Moines is 16. What a coincidence, Pastor. What make you want to move to little old Des Moines? Okay? But the Neighborhood Talk, when they posted the video, y'all, it was posted on May 24th. So the video has resurfaced, like I said in the beginning, from 2022. But let's get into some of them comments that was down there now. Someone said marriage is honorable, but this is grooming. Sir, you are old enough to be her grandfather. This isn't a partnership, it's parenting. A second commenter wrote, I wish they stopped saying 18 is grown. Anything with teen behind it is not grown. Thank you. Because there's a lot of 18-year-olds still living in the house of their mama, still needing their mama's guidance. It's a lot of adults. And we all have been there, like, come on now. Another comment section said, now, Pastor, how long you been watching this, baby? Okay, Pastor been watching that baby for a long time. Let's get into it. A very long time. Now, the comment section under the church's Instagram page has since been limited to the outrage since the video has resurfaced. Now, according to change.org petition by Safe House Unmuzzled, let's get into the church tea, y'all. Upon information and belief beginning in 2017, Reed returned to take over as pastor of Christ Apostolic Temple and as dean of its school. Okay, so he decided to return. The girl would have been between 15 to 16 years old at the time. Upon information and belief, it is through his role as pastor, school dean, and counselor that he gained an inroad to Jordan, and he began to begin grooming her and to later be brought into his service and control. The organization alleged that Reed was the pastor of a church in Shreveport, Louisiana, and was allegedly accused of having unethical relationship with young girls in his sphere of influence. Now, Safe House would later say that Reed had inappropriate sexualized contact and communication with children between 12 to 15, but also notes that this was unsubstantiated. But I'm just saying, if the children said, you better believe them. Now, Reed has fought back against those he says has slandered him, specifically another pastor named Demetrius Senegal, the CEO and senior pastor of the Kingdom Church and the Safe House, unmuzzled, not-for-profit in Missouri City, Texas. Ooh. In a civil lawsuit filed in Iowa District Court for Polk County, Reed and his 43-year younger wife alleged that after they were married in November of 2021, Senegal began spearheading an effort to smear Bishop Reed, his young wife, and the temple over the inappropriate nature of Bishop Reed and Mrs. Reed's marriage. The Texas preacher is also accused of claiming the temple is a cult and that Reed is a shepherd sick that has starved his flock to feed himself, and says at one time Senegal compared Reed to the convicted ex-offender R. Kelly. The clergy says Senegal used Facebook posts, YouTube programs, podcasts, and social media hosting sites called Clubhouse to spread lies about his marriage. They said it's also said the organization alleged Jordan was raised in the church with her parents, and that alleges that they have benefited from her relationship to the pastor. See, it goes deep, y'all. They be passing their children around no matter where you at. You could be in Hollywood, you could be in a church. They will pass you around, including the financing her family's Gigi's chicken and waffles in exchange for the teen's hand in marriage. Get into the drama, okay? This right here is tea. We need to be calling these people out, because what? Not y'all sold y'all child to keep Gigi's chicken and waffles in order and keep running y'all regular business. After being served the lawsuit, Senegal and his organization has published a detailed report citing 13 witnesses that claim that Reed had inappropriate relationship with Jordan before the two were married. I need that to drop now. The court ruled in favor of Christ Apostolic Temple, Dwight Reed and Jordan Reed, and moved the defamation case against Safe House unmuzzled, the Kingdom Church, and Demetrius Single from federal court to state court. By February 23rd, 2023, Senegal will file a defamation countersuit against Reed. So they just suing each other. Tune in for part 2.
And there's plenty more debauchery where that came from. So you can miss me with that. So back to that comment. They love the idea of two-parent households, but don't want to put in the work to make it happen. They don't practice it in a lot of cases. They would rather promote baby mama culture. And guess what? A lot of you males participate in that nonsense, even though you like to think you don't. Next commenter says, proof that women willingly choose single motherhood. No man in the house. Again, there are plenty of pick-me's in the so-called community, but you're not marrying them. They are not what you want, even though they are ready and willing to do anything for you. Next commenter says, every day Kevin Samuels gets proven he was right. Yes, of course. How can we forget? Your Lord and Savior, Mr. Samuels, twice divorced, alleged deadbeat dad, died alone with the lady of the night. I would at least hope that he died with a smile on his face before turning into worm food.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Now, let's move on and take a look at some of the comments from the ladies, shall we? The first one here says, some angry men in these comments because they didn't get chosen, and they're clearly projecting. Laughing emoji. A lot of them are so angry. It's as if they were dating her and got dumped. It's so weird. Next comment. The men in these comments are so clearly terrified of the fact that women can completely eliminate them from the picture and still be happy. At the core of their rage is the realization that they have not been able to do the same when it comes to women. Facts. A woman can always decenter men, but men cannot truly decenter women. Very interesting comment. Next commenter says, the way some of these men are mad in these comments, like they not out here making single parent homes. 3 laughing emojis. Well, no lies detected. Have I not just talked about that? Next commenter says, so many bitter men in the comments with a laughing emoji. Listen, you'd actually think that they know this woman personally. Good grief, get a life. The last comment was my favorite. You have an uneducated Tyrone, probably a bus driver, going by the way he commented, and he says, too good for a bus driver, but not too good for IVF. So basically, what he's trying to say here is too good for a bus driver, but not too good for IVF, with a clown emoji.
Got a good brain.
You know, when Black women talk about the high levels of unmarriageable Black men, this includes, but not limited to, low earners, uneducated men, illiterate men with low-level writing and comprehension skills. Sir, hello, sir. Woo! You couldn't even put together a simple sentence without messing it all up, and then had the audacity to finish it off with a clown emoji? Are you serious? Really? The only clown here is you, sir. My goodness. Such impertinence. Ew. So cantankerous. Can you afford IVF, sir? You see, at the end of the day, Eboni K. Williams has the right to make decisions that suit her life. You don't have to agree with it. You don't have to like it. It doesn't affect you in any way at all. She owes absolutely no one an explanation for any of her life's decisions. And for those of you who keep saying, well, she's being selfish for not having a man around. Are you serious? She's already signed up for 1 baby. She doesn't need a second one, messing up her peace. Having a man around doesn't guarantee anything. Every day, there are women of different races, by the way, complaining on social media about how they're single-handedly raising these kids. A lot of these women are married. Shocker! Most times, having a man around doesn't make much difference because most men are lazy. A lot of them are just figureheads, extras in the house. Very few fathers participate in child rearing. That responsibility is usually left up to the mothers. I'm pretty sure she doesn't care what any of you have to say. It's her life, her body, her cross to bear. She's not asking any of you for child support, so why are you so concerned? Mind the business that pays you and stop concerning yourselves with this woman's uterus. On that note, what are your thoughts on what's been discussed here today? Please leave your thoughts and comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And remember, ladies, live your life according to you. The world will always want you to follow some kind of script, but they need to understand that one size does not fit all. We all have the right to individual happiness without the say-so of society and others, but especially men. Thank you so much for watching. This is the Diamond Chrysalis. You've been watching Divestment with Purpose. Divest like a butterfly, and I'll see you next time. Bye, diamonds.